Hey there, I don't know what DNS provider you're using, it doesn't matter. Let's say you're using GoDaddy or DN Simple or one of those things, right? And you have a number of these records. Like if you go to one of these and your actual domain and go to DNS, you'll see that you should have a lot of alias records, A name records, C name records, TXT records, URLs and whatnot, right? Each of them has its own purpose, and you probably know it if you're managing it, at least to some extent. But here is something I found out recently that I did not know, and I figured I'll share it just in case it helps you. So we have, we purchased a wildcard SSL, right? So we can have one level of subdomains for snowpal.com essentially. Somebody's coming here, so I'm a little bit distracted. Let me keep walking. The subdomain, so we could have whatever it is .snowpal.com, right? So we own that domain and that subdomain, and we have SSL on those. All of our servers are on SSL, obviously, needless to mention. But outside of our code and our apps running, whatever number of our apps that we've published and out there that are in production, in addition to those, we also have a lot of these other subdomains, right? Like say, for instance, learn.snowpal.com for you to go subscribe to our teaching service, our education service, right? We have marketing.snowpal.com, we have training.snowpal.com, and the list goes on. And with the new API gateway releases, we have developers.snowpal.com where you can go check out our API guide, references and whatnot. You can go to aws.snowpal.com for marketplace. This is not a marketing video, by the way. I'm just giving you these examples because it's relevant to what I'm going to say. As part of this current set of changes that we've deployed, API gateway related in particular, we've used some URL redirects, right? So we have these URL records defined on our DNS server. So it was all HTTPS, right? So let's call it https://something.snowpal.com, for instance. Now we would go to one of the other sites or the API hubs where we host our API server on, our documentation on, for instance, and include these links. So instead of going to, for Rapid, there's no way to share like actually a nice, simple, pretty URL. It's a long, pretty ugly URL, right? So we have a domain. We have a subdomain Rapid. So it's rapid.snowpal.com would redirect you to that place. Now that works just fine. But if you were to add this to other pages to redirect this, let's say you're adding a hyperlink from some other page and you're redirecting to rapid.snowpal.com. Now I had initially created them. I'm just taking that as an example. It is for some other redirect. I added that as https://rapid.snowpal.com, and I realized that did not work. The redirect fails because it's over SSL, which I don't exactly know why. And again, you're not entering any sensitive data when you're going to actually because it's just a redirect, right? When you go to rapid.snowpal.com, you're essentially being redirected to the actual long, ugly URL that Rapid has for our product or for anyone's product out there in their marketplace, right? So it's literally an URL redirect, right? So the SSL doesn't really play a role there, but just by virtue of practice, because just everything we do is over SSL, I just added that link as HTTPS. And I noticed that when you go to the browser and type like rapid.snowpal, it works. But if you do https://rapid.snowpal.com, that redirect it actually fails. So then we updated it to removing the S, so just making an HTTP for the redirect. And so things work fine, right? So the redirect is just http rapid.snowpal.com, and then it ends up redirecting to the Rapid page where our product is hosted, the API product. I did not realize that. So I think I understand sort of why, not enough to actually put that in words and explain it here, but that's something you want to keep in mind. If you're doing if you're hosting your products, whether it's on Heroku or AWS, then you're totally fine, right? Like we do it, we have it over SSL, and you actually use those URLs as is and share them. There are some nuances there, like for us to support, just let's say you go to the browser, slightly I'm kind of digressing a little bit, but humor me for a second, right? So you go type snowpal.com. Some people do that. Some others would do www.snowpal.com. Some others would do https://snowpal.com. A few others might do https://www.snowpal.com. Some people might just do http://snowpal.com or http://www.snowpal.com. Now, to get all of these variations working, one would have thought you would actually have to do nothing in this day and age, but that's not the case. You actually have to do quite a bit. So that's for a different video altogether. But I just want to mention that because it's sort of related, right? So we've gotten all of them working from day one, or I would say day 3. Day 1 is not true, of us going live on the web app, for instance, right? So there was a bit of learning there a couple of years ago. But with this is much more minor compared to that. But just keep in mind, if you're doing a URL redirect, do not use the HTTPS because it's just a redirect. So I don't think this is specific to a DNS provider. I would not think so. I would be surprised if that were to be the case. But if you think it's different, then just let me know. So if you're just using them, you created an entry and URL entry for the redirect, and you're just using those URLs elsewhere or sharing it on your social media network. Just remember to not actually either just do something.snowpal.com is perfectly fine, or http://snowpal.com is fine, even though it might confuse people, but not the HTTPS version, just for the redirects, right? If that makes sense. That's about it. Thank you.